What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing well. In today's video, we're going to be building this awesome Instagram style feed you see here on the screen using Swift UI. So this is not going to involve fetching any data from an API, but we are going to be building this entire user interface purely from Swift UI. And I'll be showing you guys how to implement some button actions like you see there with liking a post. It's going to be scrollable and all that good stuff. Before we get started with the code, of course, I got to show you guys my courses that I have out. I just launched this Twitter clone using Swift 5 and Firebase and Model View Model Framework. And I also have this awesome Uber clone. These apps don't use Swift UI. They're a little bit too complex for Swift UI right now, in my opinion. But they don't use storyboards. All the UI is done programmatically. So you guys make sure you go ahead and check that out. The links to these courses are in the description and they are both on sale right now for just 12 bucks. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out if you want to learn how to build some really awesome app clones there. So now let's go ahead and get started with the code for this Instagram feed. All right guys, so I have Xcode open here. Let's just go ahead and select single view app and go ahead and name your project. Instagram feed, make sure you have Swift UI selected as your user interface. Let's hit next and create. Okay, so I, once again, don't use this preview. I think it's kind of stupid. Let's go up to our directory over here and let's create some folders. And call this model, view, and view model. So I always start every project out by organizing my directory there to make sure it stays organized throughout the process or the life cycle of the project. All right, so really quickly guys, I want to start off by importing a Swift package, which is how we are going to be making this stuff work here like this. You guys could use the standard list framework. I just think that this is a little bit better. It's called ASCollectionView. So I'll leave the link in the description for how to download this. Essentially, you're just going to grab this link and copy it. And then we are going to go to File, Swift Packages, Add Package Dependency, paste that link in there, and just hit Next and create until you're done or finish. All right, so now we have this collection view stuff. It actually has table view functionality as well, which is what we're going to be using for this. So let's hop over into our content view. Let me stick that up in my view folder. And let's go ahead and create a new file, and let's just go ahead and just delete this stuff really quick. And so go ahead and import this ASCollectionView guy really quickly. That's the thing we obviously just imported. And I'm going to show you guys how to do this with a list first, and then we'll see why I like to use the ASCollectionView instead. So we're not going to do anything here just yet. We're going to go up here and we're going to create a new file, and it's going to be a Swift UI view, and I'm going to call this post cell. So this is going to be our post cell, and it's going to be constructed of everything you see here, all the way from this guy, this picture, down to this 41 minutes ago guy right there. I also want to create another file in our model. So that's going to be a Swift file, and we're going to call this our post. And our post is going to look like this. We're going to say struct post, and it's going to be identifiable. Let ID be an integer, let username be a string, let caption be a string, let image name be a string, and let's see, let location also be a string. So this is our post object here, guys, and we created this so that we can populate each cell, essentially each post cell with a post. So let's go back into our post cell and just say let post be a post, just like this, right? So this is going to require that we initialize every post cell with a post. And in order to actually create our posts, we need to create a view model. Go ahead and just delete these previews. We don't use them. So let's go ahead and create our view model right now. So Swift file, and then call this post view model. And we're going to say class post view model, which is going to conform or inherit from observable object. And let's see, we're going to say at published var posts equals post, just like this. So our view model is going to contain our data source or array of posts. And here we're just going to construct some static posts. If this were a real application, you would actually be fetching this stuff from an API, but we're not going to be doing that. So we need to create an initializer, and let's just create a post here really quick. So let's say let post1 equal post, and let's just get all this stuff going. So let's just create 0 ID. Username is going to be Venom. Caption is just going to be test caption. Image name. I need to import these images here really quickly, guys. So I'm using this images of Venom that I always use in these sort of test applications. I think Venom's dope, and these are some cool pictures. So if you guys want those, just download the source code that's in the description, and you get access to obviously all this source code and these pictures. If not, just go ahead and grab your own pictures and stick them in the application. Let's see, image name is going to be Venom-4, and location, we'll just say Miami. All right, so this is our first post. Let's just copy and paste this and create another post. Post 2, ID is 1. Venom, let's say 10, test caption 2. And now let's just go ahead and say post append post 1 and post append post 2. Okay, so now let's go ahead and actually see this stuff coming up. So that was a little bit of work just to get the foundation of our project going. Now we're actually going to start creating our user interface with all that information. So go back into your post cell, and then let's just go ahead and say text post.caption. Okay, and let's go back to our post view model, or sorry, our content view. And in here, I'm actually just going to show you guys how to do the how to do it straightforward with the ASCollectionView. So we need to create an instance of our view model. So it's going to be an observed object var view model equals post view model. And then we're going to say var post sections AS table view section, just like this. And then I'm going to make this, you have to pass in this type here. And this is basically just like a section identifier. And this is all going to make sense in just a little bit, guys. Then say AS table view section. And let's see, we want ID data and this guy right here. You want to select the one with ID data and content builder, because that's all we need. ID, you can just say 0. Our data is here's where we're going to pass in our view model.post. That's like our data source right there. And our content builder is we're just going to pass in this post cell context we don't need. Also don't need these parentheses, and you don't need that guy either. And then here we're just going to say post cell, and we're going to pass in our post. And then down in our body, so we essentially just created a table view section. Now down in our body, we're going to create, let's see, navigation view, right? And then we're going to say AS table view. And then when we open this up to construct it, we just pass in our post sections. And then we say dot table view separators enabled. Actually, let's just go ahead and see what this looks like right now. We've done a lot of coding and we haven't run the app once, so I want to see what's showing up. Okay, so let's see, what should be showing up is our post caption. Okay, awesome. So we are seeing something show up using our test, like our table view. So that's looking not bad so far, right? So just a quick rundown, guys. We created this post and then we have our post cell. We require that each post cell be initialized with a post. This is all the UI we've created for now using this post caption. So that's the caption from our posts. We created our view model, which is our data source. And then in our content view, we create this post section, which is an ASTableView section. It has the view model posts for our data. And then this is where we construct each cell with each individual post that we get back from our view model. And then in our body, we add an ASTableView with this section that we just created up here. So that's just a quick run through of like the framework of how this stuff is working in Swift UI. This stuff is really confusing and it's like drastically different than how iOS development was done in the past. So that's why I'm trying to go through and kind of explain everything in detail so that you guys get a real like understanding of this stuff. I don't think a lot of videos out there are doing that. So now that we've done all that, let's go ahead and hop back into our post cell and actually start building out our UI. All right, guys, so let's hop back into the post cell and we're gonna start by creating this header that we see here. So let's just go ahead and create a variable for that. So we're gonna say var header, which is some view, and we're gonna stick it in an H stack, and we're gonna create this image first. So obviously we have all these components laid out horizontally, so that's why we are putting them inside of an H stack. So image, and it's going to be post.imageName, and we're going to say .resizable, .aspect ratio is .fill, .clipped, .frame, and it's going to be 40 by 40, and just delete that and then say .clip shape, clip shape, yep, circle. And then we'll say .padding and just say .leading. Okay, so that's our, let's see. Yeah, that's everything we need for that image view. Let me just go ahead and indent this stuff really quick. Yeah, so if you guys have trouble with indentation, just highlight the stuff, hold down Control and hit I, and it will indent everything for you. And then inside of our body now, let's just go ahead and put this header in there. Or let's say we're going to put it in a V stack and then say header. And then we can say text like some test caption here. And now let's go ahead and run this and just see what that looks like. So we notice that we get our images showing up along with this caption, but we need to do a lot of work to get everything looking the right way. So now what we're going to do is create this caption stuff here, or this info stuff here. So we're going to put this inside of a V stack, and we're going to say alignment is .leading, spacing we don't need, and let's put our content in here. So we're going to say text, and that's going to be post.username .font .system with the size of 14, and then say .bold. And then you can literally just copy and paste this, and this will be post.location .font 14, and you're just going to remove the bold. Okay, now here we are going to just go ahead and put a spacer, and I'll explain what this spacer does in a second, but we're going to see that this stuff is now starting to look pretty good. So we put these two components inside of this H stack, as you can see here. Then we put these two guys inside of this vertical stack that you can see here. And then we added this spacer, which is essentially just going to shove everything over to the left. If we were to add this spacer all the way up at the top, you'll notice that it would shove all this stuff over to the right. So that's what that looks like. And that's because we're placing this spacer inside of this horizontal stack. So that's sort of how you get your stuff aligned properly. But here we need to now add an image, and we're just going to say system name, and it's going to be ellipsis, and then we're just going to say dot padding. So this is going to add those 3 dots at the end right there, and that should be it for our header. So that's looking pretty good. And now let's go ahead and go back down to our body, and let's add these our image here. So let's go ahead and replace this text with image, and then we're going to say, let's see, post.image name. Then we'll say .resizable. Then we will say .aspect ratio is .fill. Then we'll say .clipped. And that's all we need to do. Just indent that stuff over there. And then I want us to go ahead and add a spacer. And now let's run this and see how that looks. So not looking too bad, right? So that's just essentially what our stuff is looking like right now, and that's looking pretty good. Now let's go back to our completed stuff and see what else we need to add. So we got to add these action buttons and all this text stuff, and it's actually pretty simple to do, guys. So let's see. We're going to create another variable for these action buttons. Which is some view. And let's see. So we're going to put all these in an H stack, if you could have guessed. And then we're going to create our heart image first. And then obviously we're going to put this action buttons inside of this big V stack that we have here. So let's see, image, and then we're going to say system name. And let's just say heart. And then we're going to say .rendering mode, .template, .foreground color is color .label. And that just gives it this like standard color here. We'll go over how to do the liking later on. And then we're going to say on tap gesture, and then say print handle like here. So when you guys say on tap gesture, let me see. Let me show you how to do that again. So just say on tap gesture, and yeah, you just hit enter, and then you can add, we'll just add a print statement here for now. Handle like toggle. Okay, so that's our first image. Now let's go ahead and create some padding, or actually let's just go ahead and create our next image. Image system name, and we're going to say bubble dot left or right. You can say left or right. That'll just make this little speech bubble guy show up on either side. And then we can go ahead and add another image of system name with paper plane. And then just go ahead and add a spacer, and let's put these action buttons right here. So let's see what that looks like, guys. And it's gonna look kind of messy. Oops, spacer. But it's gonna be pretty easy for us to fix up. So we see that if we click our like button, you guys can see at the bottom here that our print statement is coming up. We're gonna go back to that before the end of the video to handle our liking of the post. So let's go ahead and continue on with how we want this stuff to be spaced out. So there's a couple things we got to do. First, I want you guys to go down to the bottom of where your H stack is, and we're going to add some stuff here. So go ahead and say .font, and then say fonts, and let's see, then say .system, and then our size is going to be 21, and our weight is going to be .light. So this is how you adjust the size of your images here. You can give them a font size, which is kind of weird, I know, but that's just like how you do it. Then we're going to say .padding, and then go here and create some square brackets, and we're going to give it a padding on the top and the bottom. And that just gives it like a default padding for us. And then we're going to say dot, let's just actually go ahead and see how that looks for now. So just run it, and that's looking better, right? We got some padding on the top and bottom, and our buttons are a little bigger. Now we just need to space them out horizontally. So let's see, go right here on your first image, and we're gonna say dot padding, and then select this guy with edge insets and just say edge insets dot init, and our top is gonna be 0. This is gonna be 12, 0, and 8. And actually just go ahead and see. I think you can just delete that edge insets. Yeah. And just go ahead and copy this guy and put that there and there. And let's see. Leading is 8 for the comments, and trailing is 8, and then leading is 8 there as well. Okay, now run that, guys, and that should be everything we need to do for our action buttons. So that's looking pretty good, right? Let's check our completed project, and yeah, it looks pretty much exactly the same. Might be a little bit too much space. You guys can like adjust the spacing if you want, but I'm not gonna waste more time doing that. Actually, let's go down to the bottom here and add this parameter called fixed size horizontal is false and vertical is true. So run that really quickly. And that just makes sure that these guys, the size on those stays fixed. So that's our action buttons. Now the last thing we need to create is our text content. So let's go and create another variable for that. So we're gonna say var text content, which is some view. And obviously, guys, what I mean by text content is all this stuff here. So it's going to be this caption label with this timestamp, and then we will be done. Oh, I got to show you guys how to like posts, which is not hard. So we're going to create a vertical stack with the alignment of dot leading and spacing of 4, and just hit enter on that content guy. And here we are going to create this thing called a group. So let me just get some spacing in here. And this group is going to be for this caption label here, where we have this bolded text and then this standard text. So here, just go ahead and say group text, and we're going to say we need to add the post.username. Then we're going to say dot, oops, and then a space, and then say dot font, dot system, size is 14, dot bold, and then we're just going to say plus text, and then just go ahead in here and say, oops, just say post dot caption, dot font, dot system, size is 14. So that's this sort of like the replacement for an attributed label, which is what this is here. And then, yeah, that's not bad. And then just at the bottom of this group, just say dot padding. And then we're going to say, open up a square bracket, say leading and dot trailing, just like that. So that gives it padding over here and padding on the right as well. All right, so let's see. Now let's add our text content right below our action buttons. Okay, so you guys see here that that is not looking too bad. We just need to add a spacer here. So let's see, text content, VStack. Where do we want to add this spacer? I believe we just add the spacer right there. Nope, that's not where we add it. Yeah, that would be if we were inside of an H stack. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. We'll figure that out in a second. Let's just go ahead and add our other guy. So we're gonna say text and then just say 41 minutes ago. And then say dot foreground color, and then open up our parentheses, and then say dot system gray 2, and then say dot font dot system of size 14. And then we're gonna say dot padding, same thing, dot leading and dot trailing. And then we're gonna say dot frame. This is how we do it. Say, oops, dot frame. And select this guy that says max width. Where is max width? I deal with max height. Where are you? Okay, essentially you're just gonna use this guy here that says max width, which is dot infinity, and alignment, oops, is dot leading, just like that. And now let's see what this looks like. So there we go. And essentially that's just how you get, that's a different way of getting your stuff aligned over to the left. If you give it this frame with a max width of dot infinity and set the alignment to leading. If we were to do this to trailing, you guys notice that it's just gonna go move it over to the other side, just like that, right? Okay, so now that we have done that, now I think all I need to do is show you guys how to like posts, and I think and then we'll be done. And it's actually very, very simple. So yeah, this is looking pretty good. Let me see. That's like a little bit tight, but we'll fix that in a little bit. So let's just fix that now actually. Go back to your content view, and we need to fix some stuff with this table view. So we're gonna say dot table view separators enabled, and you're gonna say false. Then you're gonna say dot padding, and then just say dot navigation bar title, and we're gonna add feed there. So now go ahead and run that, and that should be mostly it for our UI. Yeah, that looks pretty good. You guys can adjust the spacing and stuff if you want to, but I think that looks okay. Now let's just go over how to like this post here. So go back to your post view, and we are going to, or post cell, sorry, and we're going to create something called a state variable. So let's just do that right down here. Oops. So we're going to say at state var liked equals false. And I'll explain the state in a little bit. Essentially, let's see. Action buttons, where's our handle like toggle? All right, so here, all we need to do is say self.liked.toggle, and that just switches the Boolean variable to the opposite of whatever it was before it was pressed. And then we need to implement some logic up here. So we need to say image system name, and then we're gonna go here and say self.liked, yes. And then we're gonna say heart.fill, and no is just heart. So this is what's known as a ternary operator, guys. It's basically shorthand for an if statement. So we're saying that the image is equal to heart fill. This is the success case if liked is true, and it's equal to just our regular heart if liked is false. So let's go ahead and see if that works. And all we're gonna have to do is change the tint color. So you guys notice that that's exactly what's happening. So every time that button gets pressed, it's gonna check here and see what the state of self.liked is. If it's true, it sets it to the heart fill image. If it's false, it sets it to just the regular heart image. And for our foreground color, that's where we're going to add our second set of logic. So we'll say self.liked, yes, .red, no, color.label. And that should do it. So that's looking really good. And guys, the reason that that works is because we made this a state variable. So a state variable is going to monitor every time something gets changed, right? So it's like, because we mark this as a state variable, every time it changes, it's going to go back and find out wherever there's like logic surrounding that state variable, and it's going to implement that stuff for us again. So we toggle the light button. It says, okay, this is a state variable. Let me go and see what things are dependent on this variable. So it looks like this image system name is dependent on this stuff, and as well as the tint color. So that's why that stuff just kind of works for us automatically without us having to like execute an update function or a reload data function like we did previously before SwiftUI came out. It's reactive style programming. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm actually going to be releasing a course on how to clone Instagram with SwiftUI, which is going to be, you know, the whole shebang. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out my courses. Once again, the links are in the description for that. And we'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace out.